Robin Flynn filling in for Elias Makos. Unless you've been living under a rock, bit tough to get around via Air Canada these days. There was a lockout, there was a strike, then there was a back to work order. The flight attendants said, no, we're not going back to work, and they're continuing to picket today. Flights are being canceled. People are being stranded all over the world, including one Montrealer who had a flight to Copenhagen from Montreal, but it was canceled due to the flight attendant strike, and no alternative options have been provided by Air Canada. Let's find out more. Maria Frank is that Montrealer whose flight was canceled. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Now, you're originally from Montreal, right?
Yes, from Montreal.
So you're stranded at home. There are worse places to be stranded, right? It ruins your vacation, but at least you're not stuck abroad trying to get back home, right?
Exactly, but I'm currently not home. I'm actually in New York because I made alternate travel arrangements to grab a flight out of JFK.
Okay, so this is the interesting thing. We heard from somebody earlier whose daughter was stuck in BC. They got this email from Air Canada being like, we tried to rebook you on an alternate carrier and we're unable to. And she was like, interesting. I found an alternate carrier in 2 minutes and booked the flight. So what happened? Did Air Canada not try to book you on another flight?
So just like everyone else, the flight was canceled. And then I would say maybe half an hour to 45 minutes after the cancellation, I was sent a message saying, we apologize, but we can't book you on any other carrier for the next 3 days. When I had looked, if I wanted to leave from Montreal to get to Copenhagen, I would have been leaving on Tuesday and only arriving in Copenhagen on Thursday.
Oh, so you'd have a few layovers then.
Yes, a few layovers, long layovers. And the thing is, Copenhagen was the first part of my journey. I was supposed to fly to Athens from Copenhagen tomorrow. That obviously wasn't an option. So what I did is I just booked a flight from JFK straight to Athens for this afternoon.
Okay, so you're leaving this afternoon. How much did that flight cost? Because I've heard that these other airlines are now gouging Air Canada customers.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm leaving from the U.S. It's a little bit more affordable. My flight one way from JFK to Athens was around $800, and that was for a refundable ticket. So Not as bad as some other ones that I'm seeing.
Yeah, the person we spoke with earlier today, she had booked what usually would be a $900 flight from Vancouver to Montreal for $1,900 on an alternate carrier, like literally more than double. What has Air Canada said to you since then? Have they offered any compensation? Are you getting a credit, I guess, with Air Canada?
So they offered a $15 meal voucher, maybe an hour. Yeah,
Sorry.
$15. Yeah, maybe an hour after they confirmed that they couldn't get me on any other carriers within a reasonable delay. And they're basically asking me to change my trip to get a refund. But as per everything we're hearing and reading, getting a refund from Air Canada wouldn't be an option because that gets them off the hook. And I'm obviously going to be collecting all my expenses and bills and sending it straight to Air Canada for compensation.
Are you hopeful that you'll actually get compensation? Because from what I understand, they consider work stoppages, labor stoppages not their fault. And so that they would not, Canadian passengers would not be protected under the Bill of Rights. So what, are you worried that you may not get any of this money back?
Look, I think it's a gray zone, and I think it's something that a lot of people don't really know exactly what it is. As we know, the law has a lot of gray zones. Mm-hmm. I'm clearly not the only person affected. There's hundreds of thousands of people. I find it hard to believe that Air Canada is just not going to do anything at all for anyone.
I mean, I do believe it. Big airlines. It's in the news right now. Everybody is upset, but once everybody starts flying again, I think the general public is gonna be like, move on. So I'm nervous because I think honestly a lot of people are gonna be footing the bill themselves. They're not gonna get anything back except maybe a credit and a $15 meal voucher. When was the last time Air Canada was in an airport? Where can you eat for $15 in an airport? That's wild.
I know, you can't even eat at McDonald's for $15.
No. That's crazy. What has communication with Air Canada been like? Have they been helpful? I've heard people trying to get through to customer service and giving up basically after waiting for hours.
Yeah, calling customer service is really not an option. If you call, there's either a really long wait time or you'll wait and you'll get disconnected. So basically, in my case, I took matters into my own hands. And luckily enough, we can, travel to another country, the U.S., by car and be able to get on a flight to get out of the country. So I had to get out of the country to get out of the country, essentially.
What's the plan for getting back home? Do you have an Air Canada flight booked to return, or did you cancel that flight? What's going on?
No, so my flight back home is confirmed. Obviously, with every day that passes, I guess that becomes more and more ambiguous. But right now, I do have a confirmed flight back home.
When is that confirmed flight?
On the 29th of August.
That's pretty soon. Are you worried that maybe there won't be a resolution that's the end of next week, next Friday? Are you worried there won't be a resolution and you'll be stuck in Athens?
I wouldn't mind being stuck in Athens. So I guess I'll take it as it comes. I mean, look, I took it this far. I got on a bus last night, took 9 hours to get to New York. Now I'm waiting at a hotel right next to JFK to get on my flight this afternoon for 3:30. So clearly I'm committed to go on vacation because the alternative was to stay home and go back to work, and that was really not an option for me. So I'll just take it as it comes.
We didn't have to go back to work. There are staycations, Maria. Come on
No. I don't do staycations, especially if I put my mind to something with travel. I got to do it.
Well, good for you. I'm going to manifest good vibes and hope that everything works out for you and that you manage to get back home. Are you traveling with somebody or are you going by yourself?
I'm traveling with my mother.
Okay, so you've got, a buddy. You guys can troubleshoot if need be. But keep us posted. If something happens and you get stuck, I really don't want to put that out there in the universe, but please do keep us informed. Let us know what's going on.
I will for sure.
Maria Frank is a Montrealer. Her flight to Copenhagen was canceled, but she figured it out. She figured it out, guys. She figured out an alternate way to get to Europe. Thanks so much for your time, Maria. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We've been getting a lot of texts on this subject, by the way, about the Air Canada strike, work stoppage, whatever you want to call it. It depends on the day. Somebody texting in about how Air Canada flight attendants have great benefits. I still don't think that means you shouldn't be paid for all of the hours that you work. Elizabeth says Air Canada should stop saying that they care about their passengers. Please stop insulting people's intelligence. It's obvious that they are as greedy as possible and they operate like a company hired by goons. Oh, my goodness. Somebody else texting in, I agree with you about unions. I'd said I usually side with the unions. This person says, thank God for them. I work for the city of Montreal. We're in negotiations right now, and they are apparently not going very well at the moment. We may be going on strike as well. The government just doesn't want to fairly pay their employees anymore. We literally have no more purchasing power like we used to. Yeah, I think you'd have to be getting a raise every year of 4, 5, 6% to still have the same purchasing power. If you're not getting raises, you're actually getting a salary cut because everything costs more. So you're left with less disposable income. Let's see what else. I wish people would understand Air Canada has made this the worst possible to get their government backers to force employees to work. Air Canada is creating the problems with their software system. Not current. Didn't they know they're talking for a year? This is crazy. I'm not anti-union. Not this case. 40-year Aeroplan membership.